welcome back, everyone. I'm Brendan at Prizeout, and I'm joined here with Kevin, also at Prizeout. So we're going to talk a little bit about choosing to build on Snowflake, why we made that decision. I think that all starts with some of our philosophies around data platform, data engineering, and engineering as a whole. So I know one question that we've been asked a lot: what hills are you willing to die on when it comes to a startup's data stack? I know for me, one thing that I care a lot about as an engineer, I think it's technology and data as a whole, is shipping data product, right? Can we, as an engineering organization, ship product in general? How do we use our skill sets to enable the organization?
Yeah, I think, as a data engineer, right, as my background, getting data better, faster, delivering that to the organization so that, folks are able to make decisions that are data driven, that drive revenue and move the company forward is key, to founding a team like this. With Snowflake, understanding that it brings the speed, it brings the ability to have a lean team running on, supercharged technology. I think it fits within the vision of, Prizeout as a company.
I tend to agree with that. I know some people love the latest and greatest. That's probably one thing that me and you like to shy away from usually. I'm interested in whether that was some of your initial feeling of Snowflake, but then also how you kind of got over that hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, Snowflake has stayed and I think is a market leader in technology in this space. I think if you asked most data folks, you have your big three. You have, Databricks, Redshift, BigQuery, Snowflake, I suppose the big four. And you can pick and choose between those. And, with our deployment running on GCP, really Redshift wasn't an option and it became BigQuery, Snowflake, or Databricks. I might have been a little bit biased seeing what Snowflake was capable of at the migration at DraftKings. So I won't say I didn't play into it, but I think that, thinking about a lean team with a platform that is able to provide so much out of the box, it might not even be latest and greatest, but focusing on what we're good at and delivering on that, having one platform that is easy to administer without having to stitch together, potentially several different technologies to achieve the same result was a game changer and just a win for us as a technology organization.
When people ask me, like, how does data impact an organization? I think of it as, great analysts can help impact a great business organization, but you need a great business. You need a great business leaders. It can't just be an analyst that drives that. Any great analyst needs great data, right? I think the same thing about a great data scientist. If you have this amazing product, how do we want to create recommendations? How do we want to drive value for consumers, or in our case, for merchants as well? How do we want to personalize engagement for partners? Again, great data scientists can only work with the data that they're given. And so I kind of think of data engineering as the force multiplier behind a great data organization, and a data organization can be a force multiplier behind a great organization.
Snowflake is my force multiplier. I think, it allows me to do several jobs at a light touch with a percentage of my time that, allows me to focus on Prizeout and driving and to help drive the product forward every day. From administration to, I had mentioned these, out of the box components that we get, integrations, running, we'll get into this a little bit later with Snowpark, but running Python natively on the platform, not having to manage other infrastructure there, orchestration, running all of our transformations there, having to not worry about, am I going to have a server fill up? Am I going to hit some sort of a capacity limitation with my current architecture that, becomes a problem that we have to address? I used to joke around with our account exec about this. Like, I think I check on this like maybe once a week, realistically, to do a health check to make sure that everything is running well. And we have alerting to, cover our bases if there was, ever a production issue. But for the most part, I almost feel about like Snowflake as I do about myself. If I'm doing my job well, nobody knows I'm here, right? And I feel that way about Snowflake, where
I do question it sometimes when you're using Snowflake. I'm like, we're saying, like, what are you doing? Like, you're not checking any of those things.
Yeah, but with Snowflake, it's I feel very similar where it's doing its job well. It is easy to take for granted that it's just it's there. It performs. You don't have to think twice about it. And I think there's a lot of parallels between the role and the platform.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, all data engineers and data scientists that are looking to join Prizeout, I do not take them for granted. Neither does the business. But no, I think there's a lot of questions a lot of times around build versus buy. And should they build this technology? Should they buy this technology? I know for us, the way we think about it is, what are you trying to do as a business, right? What is your secret sauce? And do you need to own it, right? There's certain situations where I think the answer is yes, right? Like, you have to do it well. You have to do it different. And this is the thing that we're doing as a business that's going to be the force multiplier. It's going to be where the valuation comes from. For other pieces, go buy the best. It's what they do every single day. So I think there's some parts of our data organization, like, we won't sacrifice on. We want to do it internally, and we want to focus on that every single day. I think there's others, and like Snowflake, where let's go buy and let's work with the company who's trying to create a great data platform tool, right? They are doing every day what we would like to not do, like what we'd like to take for granted, and we want to focus on what makes us uniquely great. So I think for us, it's a little bit about the Snowflake journey from why did we pick Snowflake? Probably a bit on our philosophy around building great data culture, focusing on shipping great products as an engineering org, and how do we choose tools that help us do that. So later on in this series, I think we'll talk a little bit about the migration itself, how it's going, and where we're going in the future. Thanks for watching.